Hi guys, welcome back to T's Theses. For today I have for you guys Nothing But Blackened Teeth by author Cassandra Shaw. And this book is only 130 pages, but I have a lot to say about it. So please be patient with me as I try to get through this book review today. Some of you may already know about this book. It is a very popular book and it's currently trending right now. But I'm going to go ahead and give you a little background behind the story for some of you who don't know anything about this book. So in Blackened Teeth, we have a group of 5 friends who are spending the night in a haunted house in a Japanese haunted mansion. And we find out about 5 chapters in the real reason why they are there. We find out that one of the characters by the name of Talia, that it has always been her dream to get married in a haunted house. And the thing is, this is not your typical haunted house. In this house, back in the 1800s, a bride was preparing herself for her wedding. And it takes her a while to realize that her groom is not going to show up. And when she finds out that her groom isn't going to be there, she asks her wedding guests to bury her alive within the walls of the home so she can wait her betrothed when he does return to her. Unfortunately, her betrothed never makes it back. He never makes it to the home. And so she begins to become a bit lonely. And I'm not really sure how she gets this information out there, but she begins to be a bit lonely, and people begin once a year to bury other women within the walls of the house. They bury other women while they are alive within the walls of the house so she can have a little bit of company. Which brings us to current events, where we have this wedding now that is supposed to be taking place in this haunted house. And we find out that the members of the party, that they don't really like each other. And so there's a lot of tension within the home. We already have these ghosts within the walls, but we also have this tension that's going on between these 5 friends that don't really care for each other. And it makes you wonder why they're even there. But anyways, so the thing about this story is there was so much potential for this book. I mean, we have this setting where we have this ghost bride where her teeth are blacking out. And this is a tradition that was held within the Japanese community that went from the 10th to the 19th century, where either married women or wealthy people, they blacken out their teeth. And so blackening your teeth was considered to either be a sign of beauty or a sign of wealth. And I'm guessing you can imagine what blackened teeth on a 200-year-old bride might look like. It's not pretty. So we have this main ghost with this blackened teeth, and we have a house full of yokai. And the author spends over half of the book with her characters bickering, with her characters showing their dislike for each other, to the point that there is so much tension going on in this house. We find out that one of the friends, the wealthy friend by the name of Philip purchased permits so that they can spend their time on this property. And we find out that everyone in the house, besides the groom-to-be, they know that Philip and the bride-to-be have had a sexual relationship. And so there's all this, we have secrets. We have people who openly dislike the other one. And it's, like I said, the author spends so much time showing us these things and not dwelling on the horror that she could have used within this story. We have this perfect setting, but it's blemished by all this arguing. And when we finally do begin to see elements of horror within this story, it doesn't last very long. Not long enough for the reader to get what we came here looking for. Not long enough to build suspense within us. Not enough to get our hearts racing. I mean, because yeah, Talia does end up becoming possessed by the ghost bride. And the characters work themselves up in a frenzy, trying to figure out how they're going to get Talia back. But it only lasts for a fraction of the time. You know, we have the yokai who finally reveal themselves to the characters. At least we know they're being revealed to Kat. We don't really hear the other characters talk about the ghost bride. We only know that Kat is the only one that sees her. But they get themselves worked up. They do realize that the house is possessed, and they try to figure out how they're going to get Talia back. And eventually, because of the tension that is going on between these characters, one of the main characters ends up dead. And the thing is with that, it doesn't even have anything to do with the haunting of the house, not directly. Is because of the tension that is going on between the characters, and everybody's going a little nuts because of the setting that they're in. But because of this built up tension, one of the characters ends up dead, but it's not by the hands of the ghost. It's not by the hands of, you know, the ghost taking over and causing this to happen. Is just stupidity. And the craziest part of this is they're not even trapped there. That even though we have these yokai and these entities inside this home, they're not keeping anybody there. To the point where Talia has told Kat and one of the other characters by the name of Lynn that y'all can go. You know, we don't need y'all here. Basically, nobody likes y'all. Y'all can go. But because Kat feels the need to be there for them because they were there for her during a hard time in her life, she decides to stick around. And because Lynn considers Kat to be his only friend, he stays around as well, which is just ridiculous, right? You have an opportunity to leave a haunted house that is full of hundreds of ghosts, and you decide to stay. But anyways, I'm not the one writing the story. And so not only did I think that this was a poorly developed story, I felt that the author had this need to try to prove themselves, because not only is the story filled with all these details surrounding the Japanese culture and their foods and, you know, things that are maybe unfamiliar to a lot of readers, but I had to pull out a dictionary for every page in this book. There were at least 3 to 4 words on every page where if I wasn't looking to find out what certain words were in the Japanese culture, I was trying to find out what these expansive words that the author was using to find out what they meant. And the thing is, it's like Shaw felt the need to use these big words. I'm not sure if they have a big vocabulary or they just felt the need to prove something to everyone. But simple words would have sufficed. Simple words would have sufficed in a lot of these instances, and it was just unnecessary. And the thing is, it makes you wonder, whose job is it that decides what makes a good story? I mean, what agent, what publishing house decided that this book should be produced for the masses, that this was the book that people need to read? I mean, it just makes you wonder. I've seen a lot of books that were 100% better than this, that were written by indie authors, and this is the one that got put out there. This is one that someone thought, yeah, people should be reading this. I mean, the only good thing that I found within this book was that it helped me get closer to my reading challenge on Goodreads. 130 pages, and I'm caught up. And so, because, as I'm sure you have figured out, that I did not care for this book, I end up giving it 1 star. And I hate to say that about anybody's book. I know that authors take the time to develop stories, but it was a 1 star. It just wasn't good. There was so much potential that was missed in this story, and I'm really sad about that. So if anybody out there, if any of you guys out there were one of the people that gave it 5 stars, or if you agree with me or have any other thoughts on this story, let me know. Drop it down in the comments. And for those of you who stuck around, thank you again. And until next time, you guys take care, stay safe, and try to do something nice for a stranger so we can all do our part to make this world a better place.